Hey guys, it's Jared with Full Torque here. We are looking at a 2018 McLaren 570S. This car has about 642 horsepower and makes 443 pound-feet of torque. It also has a curb weight of roughly 3,200 pounds. The top speed on this is 197 miles an hour, and the 0 to 60 time is at 3 seconds flat. Very similar to the Carrera 4S, the 992 Carrera 4S. Still not as fast as the Turbo S, but it definitely is fun to drive. We are going to put this up against a Ferrari 488. Jace is going to tell you guys about that car. We want to know what your comments are. Who's going to win this race? That'll be our next video. So leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to see if you're right, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when we post that video. Other than that, we have had this car wrapped in satin PPF by Lux Automotive. They also did the orange pinstripes on the bottom there. Lots of carbon fiber covered mirrors, intake over the engine. It's a beautiful looking car. We did keep the top gloss. It is still in gloss PPF up here, and this car is a Spider, so this roof will retract in and you can be rolling around in a convertible if that's your style. The only other thing I have that's interesting is the windshields are incredibly expensive in these cars, as Jace can tell you. So that's a story for another time. This car has carbon ceramic brakes, standard, and has a 19-inch wheel on the front and a 20-inch wheel on the back. We're running Pirelli P0s. This also has soft closed doors. The doors open up, so people think you're cool. You know, at the gas station, they'll come up and ask for pictures if they can sit in the car. Some people will bring a gun and say they're going to take the car, and I'm like, oh, you guys. Anyway, the soft close feature is pretty cool. You don't have to slam it down, just let it go, and the car will lock everything up to keep you nice and secure inside the vehicle. Just a quick look inside the vehicle. I'm a bigger guy, I'm almost 6'5". This is kind of a trick to get into. If you watch me try and squeeze in here, I kind of have to sit on the side and crunch down and then do some like specialized leg work to not drag my feet all over. But once I'm in the car, it actually is pretty dang comfortable. I have the seat all the way back, so there really isn't any more adjustment I could do, so I'm on the very edge of comfort in this vehicle. But surprisingly, there's plenty of headroom for me to sit upright. Although when the top is down, I feel like my forehead is the only thing people see coming down the street, because it feels like I'm over the windshield line. This has 3 different modes for suspension and for the engine. It has normal, sport, and track mode, and you can mix match whatever you need there. And then to engage that, you'd hit the active button right there. It also has this auto shut off engine button right here, so if you come to a stoplight, it doesn't shut your car off if you push this button. And my feelings about that is that should be an option that you say, oh, I want my car to shut off, then I'll select it. But all the cars make it so it automatically shuts off and then you have to select it. That is highly irritating and annoying. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Other than that, everything is controlled from your touchscreen right here for the most part, for your nav, your Bluetooth. You do have your lighting adjustments here. Your mirrors are adjusted by this knob in here, which is a different place to have that put. Your sensor, it's going to be hard to see, but your sensor button is right there to turn off your parking sensor and to adjust your mirrors. Also, this little toggle down here helps you control things within your gauge cluster. Lux Automotive wired radar detector to help make sure that we're going the speed limit. So it's a real clean mount right there, so you don't have any cables or wires sticking out. The whole entire dash is Alcantara and orange stitching, and then they gave you this orange accented leather under the dash on the bottom of the steering wheel. And the seats are also Alcantara, but they have a leather portion up here in the front that has the orange stitching accents. It has a Bowers and Wilkins stereo system. And if I compare it to the Turbo S, the Burmeister, it's incredibly average, but it is wrapped in carbon fiber, so that does make it cool. All right, guys, this is the 570S. Put in the comments who you think is going to win.
Magneto failure, It didn't like it. Says ESC, AVH system failure. There's all kinds of failures going on. I think it's fine. It just, Ferraris don't like to do cool stuff. We'll just turn it off and hopefully turn it back on. How's it going, guys? Jace Full Torque. I am driving, as you can tell by my attire. Yeah, it's my Ferrari get up. Ferrari 488 2016, 660 horsepower, 561 pound-feet of torque, I believe. Pretty awesome car. I like these cars a lot. This is actually first Ferrari that we've had on the channel, first Ferrari I've ever had. Getting used to them, they are completely unique, I would say, on their own. But we'll talk about a couple features of the 488. First off, we'll just talk about some of the cosmetic stuff we did. Full PPF satin on it to protect it, because it didn't really have that much protection on it. We did gloss on the bottom, gloss on the top, PPF as well, just some gloss. And Lux Automotive did this for us. Did a great job. They did this yellow accent pinstriping to kind of match the theme of the black and yellow. Did the pinstriping all the way around the back. Left the intake vents gloss just to kind of make that pop a little bit. I think it turned out really well. I mean, the 488 GTB is obviously the entry-level 488, so we kind of wanted to make it look a little cooler, but we didn't want to do like the pista striping or, you know, try to make it look like a pista, just kind of make it look unique. We got the, what do we got here? Let me see, 305 30 R20s on the rear, and on the front, 245 35 R20s. So 20s on the front and rear. I would have thought the rear wheel drive would have been a little bit bigger on the back like the McLarens are. This interior is pretty cool. It's got the Daytona racing seats in it, carbon fiber racing seats, yellow seat belts with the yellow buckle, which is, I haven't seen that actually on any make of models. The buckle actually matches, that's pretty cool. Some carbon accents on it. It's got the F1 style steering wheel, if that's what they call it. Couple things that with this one, they did the yellow stitching accents in the seats, on the dash, doors, door cards have the yellow stitching. The headliner, we actually put a different one in there. The stock GTB headliner is just a fabric, not a real big fan of that. So we had some guys down in Vegas do a full Alcantara headliner, which is super cool because that's basically the pistas, you have to option that out. So it's substantially cheaper probably to do aftermarket than it would be from the factory, but I really like the headliner. The fabric one kind of almost would hang down a little bit because they just glue them up, and they don't really hold up. They're kind of known for falling apart. So that's pretty unique. Another couple cool facts about the car. Standard, they have the carbon ceramic brakes. They're decent, they're pretty good brakes. I still feel the like the Porsche carbon ceramics have a little bit more bite to them, but definitely more braking than you need. They do the job. I will say I'm not super, I'm like 6'1", so not a huge dude, but compared to a lot of other cars, getting inside of them, usually you have a big pillar here or something you've got to kind of slide over, which isn't horrible, but with the Ferraris, you're just kind of jump in it, just like you do with your Civic, which is cool. Steering wheel, you have your couple features on here, your suspension adjustments. Obviously, this is unique to Ferrari and some other brands, is you got the blinkers on the steering wheel. If you're not careful and you go to change lanes and don't pay attention, you're gonna have your blinkers on for a second, which I may or may not have done that a few times. This is something I wish all the supercars would incorporate, this to be able to change your ESC off and race, sport, wet, on the fly on the steering wheel like this without having to go through menus on the dash or on a center console screen, which this doesn't even have. I do like that Ferrari makes it so you can stay engaged and make all the adjustments you need on the steering wheel, which is super cool. There is no obviously center dash, everything's done through here. So you've got your infotainment over here. You've got, you know, information on the vehicle, you know, mileage, coolant temps, oil temps, all of that is done through this screen over here. And then you have a standard analog style you know, cluster with the RPMs, which is nifty. Your speed is displayed down over here, which is weird. It's very hard to see the speed unless you change the screen over to full just mile per hour, which you can do that, but standard it's just gonna have the mile per hour down the corner, which I mean, it's not that important, I guess, when you're driving these cars that you don't care about your speed, but you can get in some trouble if you don't have that. So That's something to be aware of. All your climate controls are just right here in the center. Your shifting's done with the paddle, so from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Reverse right there. This changes from auto to manual mode, and then obviously your launch control buttons and things like that. Your window buttons are right here in the middle. Yeah, I actually do like having it right there. It's not up here on the dash, it's just right by your hand, so you can just adjust your mirror adjustment right here. So you can change both mirrors right here from the driver's side. Super easy. It's right here next to you when the door's closed. And then hood pop, all that good stuff, gas cap. Not a lot of storage though, like most of these cars. You've got a little bit of a net back here, and that is about it. There is no center console that opens up like these, and like even the 720S has a center console where you can open it up, put some stuff in there, which I do like. So you can have some stuff hidden where you don't have that, but you do have a glove box, which is nice. 720 doesn't have glove box, so I mean, they make up for it right there with the glove box. So I do like that. I think that's pretty much it on the Ferrari, guys. So there's the 488 for you. We'll see how it does against the 570. In my opinion, McLaren hands down, like they put the power down better than any other manufacturer as far as getting their power to the ground, where this car, I will say the tires are stock on it. It has the stock Michelin tires, but it's difficult to get traction. First gear, even second gear, it just gives you full power from the very beginning, where McLaren's kind of dialed up as you get into the gears, which I do think makes them a little bit better as far as getting up to speed a little bit quicker. So I think that this thing on a race with the 570 is going to struggle in the lower mile per hours, because it's going to be trying to fight for traction. And I just think the 570s are just so good at getting it down, and their top end is phenomenal as well. I don't know. I'll be curious to see. I mean, this does have 100 more horsepower, so theoretically it should be faster. It should beat the 570 no problem, but I don't know. We'll find out. I really don't know which car would be quicker as far as lining up and going down the road. So let us know in the comments if it's something you guys are interested in seeing, and just want to give you guys a little overview of these two new cars that we just picked up for the channel, and we're pretty excited to get them out on the road and see what they'll do. So subscribe, like, notification button. Appreciate it.